We just had a very interesting discussion with Reinhard Bütikofer from the European Parliament and Peter Róna, Hungarian economist, on the situation that Europe is in today and the possible ways out of the crisis. And I wonder, Reinhard, what do you think was the main difference between your perception?
Well, I would say there was an obvious difference that I believe we should hold the Eurozone together, and Peter took the position that countries should exit the Eurozone. He advocated Greece leaving, he advocated Germany and others leaving, so basically he was in favor of breaking up the Eurozone. But of course, behind his position and behind my position was also a different analysis. And I think with regard to the analysis, the main difference was that he tried to analyze the European crisis only in economic terms. I believe he ignored broadly the political reason for some steps that have been taken in the past, the political implications of steps that one side or another presently advocates. He underestimated the dialectic between political decisions, democratically legitimized political decisions, and economic rationale. And in de facto, he advocated an imperial economic science point of view that sort of pretends to be able to solve all problems on economic terms. I think that's old thinking. We have to stress and to emphasize democratically legitimized political decisions, and that's why I believe one of the basic tenets of a solution of the present crisis is to enhance democracy.
I think you agreed more or less both on the analysis that the construction of the euro in economic terms is, let's say, not the best one. And you also seem to agree that the way that the European Union is trying to tackle the crisis at the moment is probably also not the best possible. So what is your suggestion now to the EU, how to solve these problems of extreme divergence?
Look, if we go back in time and analyze how it all started, there's an obvious difference between the economist and the politician. The economist, if he doesn't like the terms that the reality offers, can write a new textbook, and that's his solution. The politician still has to offer practical solutions. So we are not enjoying the same liberty. Sometimes we have to act, oftentimes politicians have to act under not ideal conditions. And this is also the case with what's happening now and what's been happening over the last year or two. It's probably right to say that the cost of the crisis, which would be much lower if the leaders had been willing to take more decisive steps early on. But it's also of little practical use to say that. I think we have to identify a number of principles that are necessary prerequisites for any solution. And one core principle is that we should balance solidarity with solidity, which means in practical terms that to some degree there has to be, one way or another, a mutualization of parts of the sovereign debt, either through a banking license for the ESM or through euro bonds or through another tool like the redemption fund or whatever, or through the ECB printing money. I don't think all these possible answers are equally good, so we should make a wise selection. But I don't think we can solve the crisis without owning up as Germans to the fact that we have to budge in to some degree. On the other side, it's also not possible to refrain from any of the structural reforms that are necessary in some of the other countries. So I think everybody has to contribute under the paradigm of sticking together, because the value of the integration project is still overwhelmingly positive for all European members.